Good. Okay. I think I may have an issue with this now. Okay, you know what, friends? Let me see. There's something I need to do about the WebEx so that I wouldn't have to get prompts. Um, a lot of persons are joining in from WebEx, and I need to enable the settings such that they can come in without prompting me. Let me see. I need to adjust this. If not, I won't be able to flow. Okay, so click on this. Um, I'm trying to find the option to let as many persons in so that I don't have to be the one to prompt them in. There's a feature for that. Okay, I can't really find it now if I have to settle down to find it. So please, if there's anybody that comments maybe on the Telegram group, because I'm not there yet, that they can't join the session for WebEx, please just tell them to try and join the Teams because I'm about to lock the WebEx right now once I just get started. This is simply because if I start the session, I don't want to always get distracted with the notification. Okay, so or perhaps I won't lock it, so I just hope the persons will be patient with us. Okay. All right. Good. In the last class, we started with AWS S3. We did a whole lot of amazing things, and we've done a lot of justice to the cloud. We've done a whole lot of amazing things. So we learned how to create buckets, and we learned how to host websites. We learned about versioning. I'm sure the video that had the lags stopped towards the versioning. When we got to the replication, there was a lot of lagging, right? For those of you who watched the video, I'm sure that's the situation. Everybody got the concept of versioning, but when it got to replication, there was a lot of lagging. Okay, so while I will not touch them now, we'll still cover it. So one of the things I want us to touch, we're going to touch about the life cycle rule. We're going to touch something we call pre-signed URL. Then we're going to touch about IAM, which is what we in the concept of policy generator, policy simulator. Okay. And then if we're able to finish up, then we'll go back and then touch the replication rule and other things. So, but we're going to take it slow and steady so that everybody will be able to get the whole big picture. All right, so let's see. Okay, so this is our simple AWS S3 account. It's an S3 account we have here. And as you can see, there is no bucket available in this. There's no bucket available in this region. Okay, it doesn't have much there. Now, but the most important thing I want you all to understand, which you've all learned, S3 is an amazing tool. You can use S3 to do a lot of amazing things, right? Now, um, we deliberately did not give you the week 2 project yet. So possibly you might get it maybe at the end of today or tomorrow. Okay, but it's something very simple that you all can do. Now, one of the major thing I want to touch on, I want you all to learn about S3 because it's very simple, but it's something that's being utilized by a lot of organizations. Okay, let's create a bucket. So I'll click on this and let's give this a name. So I'll say random bucket 2024. Okay, and okay, let's Let's come here. All right, bucket ownership. So let's get this enabled. Scroll down. Okay. First of all, let's lock this. That's fine. So we're going to enable versioning, or right now, let's keep it very simple. I'll just touch on the pre-signed URL first. I'll click on create bucket. Let's see the name of the bucket. Oh, random bucket 2024 already exists. I'll just put September. I don't think that should exist. I'll click on create bucket. Good. Now I've created a bucket, as you all can see. Friends, I want you to understand something I'm going to do. I'm going to create a file inside this bucket. And when I create the file inside the bucket, I'll click on this and upload a file here. So I'll click on upload and I'll click on add files. Now, all I need to do is just to choose a simple file. So I'll choose this and select upload. Now, friends, when I upload this file, okay, normally we usually go and grant it permission, but see what I want to do. I'll click on this upload. So right now, this is the file we have here, okay? I'll click on close and you all can see the file, okay? There's one object inside this bucket, okay? Now, if I click on this, you're going to see the object URL. Now, if I click on this and try to open this object and click enter, you will notice that I cannot access the bucket. So there's a concept called pre-signed URL, but I'll click here. Let me show you something. So if I click on this, right, what did you see here? Share with a pre-signed URL. Now, you might need to share this image or this file with somebody, okay? Now, right now, this object is uploaded here, but it's locked. Nobody has access to it. You understand? I am the only person who have access to it, okay? But I need to do some permissions before I will be able to have access to it. Now, but I want you all to see that if you want to share it to some people for a regulated period, click here, okay? So click here, select share with a pre-signed URL. So I'll click on this. Now, anyone can access the object with this pre-signed URL until it what? Expires, even if the bucket and object are private. So even if everything is private, but they have this pre-signed URL, they can access it. So it can be in time interval, in minutes or what? In hours. Take note of that, very important. So I'll just do it in minutes and let's just use 1 minute. So in the next 1 minute, so I'll click on create pre-signed URL. So if you watch this, it shows us something at the top here. Can you all see this? So if I copy this and paste this right here, first thing you should notice is you can see that the URL is very lengthy, and then I can see it. Do you understand? So I can share this with you all as well. So I'm going to share this on the comment section. Okay, I've shared the link on the, comment section. Okay, I'm sure everybody can see. Now I'm going to share it for those on WebEx so they can also see it as well. So please, can you all check, confirm if you can see it? Just type yes on the comment section. If you can see it, just type yes. You can see it, please type yes. Okay, good. Now, you're going to notice something. In the next 1 minute or so, I will not be able to see this. So let's reload this and see what happens. Did you notice I can't see it anymore? So if some of you try to view it again, you will not be able to see it. That's the power of the pre-signed URL. So this image was only made available for a period of 1 minute based on what I said. And you can go as much as 12 hours. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so If I click on this, I click on this, you're going to get this. So in minutes, this is 720 minutes, and 60 minutes make 1 hour. 60 multiplied by 12 is 72. So 720 is 12 hours. So if you watch here, you'll be able to see it here, 12 hours. So if you come here and choose hours, it's between 1 and 12. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Please, I hope this makes sense to everybody. Good. So you can allow this to be open for the next 12, what is it called? 12 hours. So that is how pre-signed URL works. It's a very, very important feature in S3 that a lot of persons use. So I felt if I didn't touch it, it will not be a complete thing. Okay, please let's understand how that works. Okay, good. Now we've covered the pre-signed URL. Let's move on to something I will call, okay, let's talk about the lifecycle rule. Okay, before we move to the replication rule. So I'll click on this. Now, friends, from what we've done in previous classes, if you agree with me, you will notice that this bucket does not have versioning turned on. Do you notice that there's no versioning turned on? How do I know the versioning is not turned on? You're supposed to see something here. There's something that appears here that tells you to you can toggle between show and hiding. Okay, the versioning. But right now, versioning is not turned on. But I have already created the bucket. Do you understand? I've created the bucket, but versioning is not turned on. Please, I hope this makes sense to everybody. Now, how can I enable versioning when the bucket has already been created? Let's do that. All I have to do, right? First of all, click on permissions. Now, okay, if you scroll down, sorry, I think I missed that. It should be properties. If you check here, you're going to see versioning. Okay, under properties, you're going to see bucket versioning. Right now, this version is disabled for this bucket, random bucket 2024 September. That's the name of my bucket. All right. And right now, this bucket is disabled. I hope this makes sense to everybody. Is disabled. Now, to enable it, I'll just click on edit. But before I enable it, I want you to understand that anytime you enable a bucket versioning, you cannot disable it. The only thing you can do is to suspend it. Okay, suspend. Good. Which of course automatically means like you've turned it off. You get. So if I click here on edit, now you're going to see between suspend and enable. So this suspends the creation of object versions for all operations, but preserves any existing object. It means if there are objects you already have that has versioning on them, it's going to preserve it. But any other object you create, versioning will not take effect on them. I hope this makes sense, please. Good. So I'll just click on enable right now and click on save changes. So if I go back to objects, you can be able to see this now. This was not showing before. Okay, so this is how to enable versioning on a already created bucket without an initial versioning enabled. I hope this is not so complex for everybody. Okay, if you've watched previous videos, you'll be able to understand everything we're doing. Okay, now let's build upon it. I'm trying my best to take everything slow and steady so we can build upon everything we are learning. Everything we are learning. Okay, so we've learned how buckets work. We've learned how to create buckets. We've learned how pre-signing links work. That's the pre-signed URL, how it works. We've also moved on to learn how to enable bucket versioning. We want to now learn about what I call the lifecycle rule. Okay, and I said to you that for lifecycle rule to work, you need versioning enabled. First of all, what is life cycle rule? I'll show you where to find it first of all. This is management. If you click on this, you're going to see life cycle rules. Okay, now I don't want you to get distracted with this right now. The first thing I want you to understand is if we have a bucket let's come here and get an S3 bucket. So I'll just right click this and say copy image, and let's paste this here. So this is how a typical S3 bucket looks like. All right. So this is an S3 bucket. Okay. So these S3 buckets, right? Anytime you upload an object into this bucket, friends, I want you to know that there's something we call storage class. Okay, let me use a pretty example. Somebody asked a question because I got informed by Miss Vivian. She told me about somebody asking a question that can they use S3 in place of Google Drive to always upload their files. Now, um, I'm sure she gave the person a lot of feedback and explained it to the extent the person understood it. Now, I want to use that analogy to help you all understand the impact of S3. Because you're using free tier, right? You might not know the cost implication that comes with using S3. S3, one of the benefits is that you can upload as many data as possible. Okay, in fact, 5 GB, 5 gigabyte size of data per object, per bucket. That's what I mean. So if you have 3 buckets, right? If you have 3 buckets, just like this is only one bucket here. So this bucket can contain 5 gigabytes. If I'm correct, let's see if let me check if it's one bucket or one object alone. Let's see. S3 buckets size free tier, because sometimes they usually change it. Okay, you see, this is 5 GB. So AWS free tier allows customers 5 GB of storage in the AWS S3. Please, do you understand? So every bucket you create, each time you create a bucket, you can upload as much as 5 GB files into that single bucket. So if you create 3 buckets, you can have 15 gigabytes. I hope that makes sense. Now, friends, I want you to understand that as much as AWS tells you that you can upload this 5 GB, I want you to understand that there is a price attached to this. You might not readily see it, but there are a lot of factors we consider in terms of the price. Okay? In terms of the price. And that is why I created this Excel spreadsheet, which some of you must have seen in the Google Drive. Okay? If you check the Google Drive, you're going to see all of that. Okay? Now, but that's not what I want you to just let's focus on this right now. If you watch this closely, you're going to see that we have something we call S3 storage class. Is it true? S3 storage class. We have S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiering, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the popular S3 storage class, about 6 of them. Okay, now notice something, friends. Anytime I create a bucket, something happens. Let me show you. I'll come here. Did you see this bucket I created? This bucket I created. I want to show you something. Let's go inside the bucket. This is the object inside the bucket. Is it true? Do you notice that this object inside the bucket, anytime once I uploaded this bucket, it took a storage class called standard. Did you see that? Automatically, it goes under standard. Do you understand? So the first storage class is called what? Standard. Okay, so let's go back to the Excel sheet again. This is S3 standard. Okay, so this is a storage class. So anytime you upload a file, by default, it is always under S3 standard. Do you understand? But what if you say, even though you don't know the difference yet, don't worry. But what if you say, okay, you know what? I actually want it to be under S3 intelligent tiering when I'm uploading it. How do you do that? Let me show you. So I'm going to click on upload. All right. Now, if you scroll down and click on properties, did you see properties here? Click on this. Can you see storage class there? Friends, can you see? So this is all the storage class. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But do you notice that I only have 6 here? Because these are the popular ones. Although S3 still adds buckets, storage classes from time to time. Okay, so now, but if you understand this 6, you can still be able to relate with this. Now, friends, I will explain all these things in a short while, but I don't want us to be lost. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I said I want to switch to a different one, so I'll just click on this one. Okay, and I'll scroll. So just selecting it, that's all, right? I'll come here and say add files. Okay, so I want to upload something. So let's say this is OpenME Cloud Credentials. I'll select this and click on open. Did you see that? And remember, it's still under intelligent tiering. So I'll scroll down and select Word, upload. Let's see what happens. Beautiful. It's uploaded. Close this. Friends, did you notice that it is under intelligent tiering storage class? So this is how to select a storage class of the object you are uploading. Please, if you understand this, can you type yes on the comment section just to be sure we all got it? Just type yes, just to be sure. Okay. David, you might want to reconnect back. I'm sure those typing yes can see my screen. Okay. Please just try and reconnect back, John, David. Okay. I hope it's the same thing for my friends at my friends in on using WebEx. Okay. Kunle said yes. Good. Thank you so much. All right. Now let's move on. Thank you. So now that we know how to choose the storage classes, now, but you need to know, why am I choosing a particular storage class? I need to know which one to choose and why I'm choosing it. It has to do with the price. It has to do with the price. Let's come again. Watch this sheet carefully. Please, I want you to pay rapt attention. If you understand this, you will understand to use S3 efficiently. I'll say it again. If you understand this, you know how to use S3. Friends, these are the 3 things you need to consider whenever you are considering S3 pricing. S3 what? Pricing. Okay? In other words, how much is AWS going to charge you for using S3 service? Okay? So now, if you watch this, you're going to see data retrieval rates, data volume stored, and data upload and download counts. Now, what does that mean? When we say data retrieval rates, it means how frequent do you want to retrieve that information? Okay, let's say you gave somebody money to keep for you, and you give the person $500,000 to keep for you, right? And then every 2 weeks, you're always asking for, can you give me $10,000 there? Can you give me another $10,000 there? Next week, next 2 weeks, can you give me another $10,000 there? You notice that the person, the retrieval rate is high. Is it not true? The person is always or frequently retrieving that money from the person holding it. Is it not true? I hope we get it. So that's what we mean by retrieval rates. So the retrieval rates can be high or low. So AWS is telling you that if the rate of retrieval is high, the price will be affected. It will be higher. I hope this makes sense. Volume stored. If the volume of data or objects you are storing is high, it's going to affect the price. I hope this makes sense now. So if you're storing an object that is as large as 2 gigabytes, it's going to be more expensive than someone that is just uploading something that is 2 megabytes. Okay? I hope this makes sense to everybody. Now, the third one, which is data upload and download count. Do you notice, friends, that this object here called branding thumbnail, I uploaded this object. Do you know that for every time for every time. Now, if I adjust this, if I enable it from here, maybe through presign URL, and you are able to see it, for every time you can see it, you are downloading it. That's what it means. Okay, for every time you are able to see it, to view it, it's like we use the word download count. Okay, so that's what it means by download count. Okay, now for every time you upload something, it also affects the price. So S3 is saying for every time you upload data into a bucket or you download something from that bucket, it affects the price. So these three things that affect the price of S3 service majorly. I hope we understand this and it's not confusing anybody. Otherwise, please let me know. All right. Okay. Okay, good. Let's continue. The next thing I want to talk about, let's explain this, all these things you all can see here. Okay. Having known that this is what happens. So if you create a bucket and you upload something inside of it, all right, the very moment you upload something, oh my God. Oh geez. Okay. The very moment you upload something, inside that bucket, it takes the storage class except you change it. Now, this column says access frequency. Okay, what does this mean? It means that how frequent do you want to access the object that is stored inside the bucket? Is it frequently or not? Okay, so it can change from frequently to infrequently, or I don't even know. I'm not sure how frequently I'll be accessing it. It depends. Somebody could say it depends. If I'm broke, I'll need to retrieve something. If it has to do with money, right? Or if it has to do with the file you stored inside the bucket. When you use infrequent or when you use this unpredictable, is when you're not sure when you need the object inside the bucket. Okay, so these are different access frequencies. Okay, it can be frequent, it can be unpredictable or changing, it can be infrequent, and it can be rare. You rarely access it. Okay, so there are some important documents you can upload into a bucket that you rarely access it. Okay, so these are what we mean by access frequency. I hope this makes sense. So they are saying to you that if you know that anything you want to store in the bucket, you will be accessing it frequently, please use S3 standard. If you say you don't know, please use intelligent tiering. Friends, give me a few minutes. So those on the WebEx, yes, for some reason I did not create. I noticed that we've not enabled the payments on that WebEx, so it will go off in the next few minutes. But I'm still going to create it up so that you all can still join. Okay, and I'll share it on the comment section so that somebody can paste it on Telegram. Okay, you all can still join. But if you can, please join Telegram, but Teams rather. But if you still want to, I'll still create the WebEx so that you can join. All right, so that everybody can still participate. Okay, now, so friends, I hope you all get it. So if you create a bucket and infrequently, like I'm not so frequent, but I access it once in a while. Okay, so what do we mean by frequent and infrequent? So it could be um 20 times in a month, or it could be once in a month. 20 times in a month is frequent. Is it not true? I understand, Jafar. So 20 times in a month is frequent. 2 times in a month is infrequent. But 2 times in a month and then 20 times in the next month is unpredictable. I hope we're getting it. So use that mindset to know the storage class to always choose. Okay, good. I'm sure we've all gotten what access frequency means. Then what about durability? I'm going to take these two together. So there's a difference between durability and what? Availability. Okay? Durability and what? Availability. So, friends, I want you to know that something can be durable but not available. Durability has to do with how long it will last. How long will it last? But availability has to do with will it be available? You understand? How long will it be available? In other words, in terms of retrieval. So let's use a simple analogy so that this can make sense before we talk about the percentage. You know, let's say you use S3 standard to store something inside the buckets, right? And AWS tells you that availability is 99.99%. Now they are telling you that anytime you need it, it's going to be available for you 99.99%. That's what they mean. Anytime you need it, it's going to be available. Okay, so imagine if this was 50%. So it means that the chances of it being available when you need it, so it may not be your fault. So the bucket might be available, but the object inside of it, when you need it, might not be available for you, maybe due to one reason or the other from AWS S3. I hope that makes sense. So that's what this availability has to do. Okay, so you will notice that it is reducing. It is reducing as we go down from one storage class to another. Okay, it's reducing as we go down from one storage class to another. Okay, good. So while S3 standard one might be the best, right, but it is more expensive. That is why you can see higher cost here. It is more expensive than every other ones. But if you want it to be cheaper, down to the lowest, you need to go down to another storage class. Okay, so we're still going to touch this. So friends, let me just quickly create the WebEx for them. I'll just click on this and click on this. Can you all still hear me? I'm sure you can hear me, please. Friends, can you all hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. So I just shared the WebEx link in case anybody asks for the WebEx link. Please, I just provided on the comment section. All right, so let's continue, please. I'm going to share my screen. Yes, I stopped sharing my screen. So I'm currently sharing my screen right now. So you should be able to see my screen. I'm currently sharing my screen right now. Okay, I'm currently sharing my screen. You should be able to see it. All right, good. So now everything is fine. So we're good to go. Now, so friends, let's watch this. Retrieval time is immediately. So anything you put inside the S3 standard bucket, you can always retrieve it immediately. Immediately. Okay. Unlike the last one here, which is Glacier Deep Archive. So if you ever plan to write AWS exams, please take note. If you ever plan to be certified on the cloud, okay, as a cloud maybe solutions architect or cloud practitioner, you need to understand this very well. And most of the materials out there might not give you this detailed explanation like I'm trying my best to do for you all. So please, I'm doing this to encourage you so that you can understand how it works. So that if you are choosing a particular tier of you're choosing a particular storage class, you know what it means and how it works. Okay. Now, having said that, so you'll notice that if for any reason I am choosing S3 storage class, and the reason why I'm choosing the storage class is because I am aware that anything I put inside of it, I rarely use it. Okay. And not just that, it is the cheapest. Okay. The lowest cost. So I want something that is very, very cheap. You understand? And because of this, I want you to understand that if you put anything in storage in this Glacier Deep Archive, you will not be able to view it until after 12 to 48 hours. Did you see this? After 12 to 48 hours. Let me prove it to you. So I'm going to come here and create a bucket. So you see, I'll click here. Let's upload an object into this place, right? So I'm going to click on upload. All right. And let's click on add files. And let's say let's see. Okay, let's use this one and click on open. So this is the file I've uploaded right now. We've not changed the storage class because it's still using the old. So I'll click on properties. So if you come to the bottom, it's still on standard. Can you see that? So friends, watch this. Can you see Glacier? So this is the list. So the 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 bottom, depending on, so if you notice on my Excel sheet, this is what we have, but AWS has introduced another one. Okay, that is why they don't recommend this. That's why they say not recommended as S3 standard. Even though this is the cheapest, but it's not recommended. Okay, good. Now I'll still tell you more reasons, but let's assume that I choose this Glacier Deep Archive. Did you see this as the storage class? And I want to upload a file, this file here. Okay, now I'm going to click on okay, let's scroll to the bottom and click on upload. Good. I'll click on close. Friends, this is the Dora I just did now. Can you see this is what? Glacier Deep Archive. Friends, let me prove something to you. I'm going to try to open this file. So I've selected it here. Now, if you did you notice that the open button is not even active in the first place? Did you notice that? It's not active. Why? Because it's where? In deep Glacier Deep Archive. So go back to the sheet again. It says Glacier Deep Archive. Anything you put inside this storage class, right? To retrieve it, you need to between 12 to what? 48 hours before you can retrieve it. Like just to view it, either to open it or to download it. So you need 12 to 48 hours. So why do you think people choose this storage class? I told you because it's the cheapest. And secondly, it's because anything you put you anytime that it means also that the file is not apart from the fact that it's going to be very cheap, the file is not really utilized. Okay, you will not always have you don't need this file all the time. You just want to store it there for just reference or for storage purposes. Please, I hope we understand. Now, so I want you to understand that it's true that it's in this state. So the question is, are you going to wait for 12 to 48 hours? Let's see what can happen. So if you select this, right? Now, I want you to take note of something that's going to happen. So if you click on actions, you see, what did you see? Initial restore. Now, but first of all, let's click on the file. I'll click on this file. If you click on the file, this is what you're going to see. Did you notice what it says? This object is stored in the Glacier Deep Archive storage class. You understand? So what does that tell you? It means that you need to wait, you can retrieve it. So in order to access it, you must first what? Restore it. So to restore it, you have to click this, initial restore. And if I click on initial restore, did you see? There are different things. Now, I'm just doing this so that you can all learn, okay? So initial restore, it says, let's read this. It says, when the restore request is initiated, temporary copies of the objects will be available for the number of days you specify in the request. In other words, even though it wants to restore it, it won't be available for a long period of time. He said you have to specify the number of days. Do you understand? So if I say I want it to only be available for 2 days, the restore copy will be available until approximately this. So if it comes back, right, it means that after 2 days, it will go back to Glacial Deep Archive. If you understand this, please type yes, just to be sure you understand so far before I continue. I just want to be sure we all understand. Please let me know. Okay, good, good, good. I'm so glad you guys are getting it. Don't worry, Green. I'll try to reemphasize on it again. Okay, I'll try to reemphasize on it again. So thank you so much, friends. I want to believe it's the same thing for those on WebEx. Okay, so now let's continue so we can save time. Now, you can specify the number of days you want it to be available, okay? But I want to keep it simple and say 2 days. And this is the date, which means today is 2nd, 2 days from now is 4th. Okay. Now, retrieval tier means bulk retrieval, typically within 48 hours. Standard retrieval, typically within 12 hours. So, in other words, this is like saying, do you want to retrieve everything, like the whole thing? So, the whole bulk retrieval typically is going to be within 48 hours. But if you want to retrieve it using the standard approach, and I think this is usually in parts, so it's going to happen what is it called, within 12, so within 12 hours you're going to retrieve everything. Okay, now if you scroll down, I can always choose this. Okay, now if you watch this, all you need to do, this is the object, is it not true? Once I click on initial restore, watch what's going to happen. Did you see this? So successfully initiated restore. So now the information below will no longer be available for after you navigate away from this page. So if I click on close, I want you to understand that right now it has initiated restoration. Do you understand? It has initiated, depending on the size of the file and so on. It will move that object in this bucket, this object called Dora. Yeah, this object inside this bucket, it will move it from where? Glacier Deep Archive towards the standard. Friends, do you all understand? So that's what this retrieval time is all about. So if you choose Glacier, retrieval time is between minutes to hours. Okay, so please, I want you all to understand this. So it all has to do with the costs and then the use cases. That's why I put something like real world use cases. When will you want to use them? Okay, so if you watch this one, that is S3 standard, is used for active web applications, frequently accessed data. Sometimes when you are working as a cloud engineer, you're working with developers or DevOps engineers, right? And they want to use S3. The best one to get the best service is usually S3 standard. Okay. Now, but if this is for data with unpredictable access patterns, like some dynamic websites and the rest of them, you are not sure. Because now, why do they say like dynamic websites? Because it's not always that customers will always be retrieving data. You understand? So sometimes the website will be there will be high traffic, especially during let's say, is it Black Friday? Yes. Or discount sales, right? So the way customers access the data is not always high. It's not always on the peak period every now and then because it's not predictable. So you can always use this intelligent tiering. You see that? Now, what about this one for backup disaster recovery? So if you just want to back up something, okay, you just want to just back it up for backing up purposes or for disaster recovery, okay, in case you lose this, you can always get the other one. They recommend you can use this standard IA because this one, you don't access it all the time. You might only access it when you have a disaster. That is why it is infrequent. Please, do we understand? So the next one is low cost backup. So that's just the same thing for all these ones. So you see, this last one is data that needs to be retained for 7 to 10 years or more, such as compliance. Some organizations usually require people to have to follow compliance standard. Every information you are backing up, it must be compliance standard. It must follow compliance. Do you understand the compliance rules and the rest of them? And one of them is to make sure that there's always backup. So companies usually use this Glacier Deep Archive. So I think this is self-explanatory. Let's go back to this. Now, of course, this might take a while, okay? So if you reload this, it's possible that this might still be there and you might not know what to do, depending on the, what is it called, the file and so on. So this object is stored here. So the restoration is still in progress, even though the file is very, very small. Do you understand? So, but let's not worry about that, at least for now. We've all understood how the storage classes works, okay? Now, friends, before I move away from the storage classes, remember we are learning life cycle rules, okay? I want to show you something. Let's open this object, right? And click on so let's see. If you come down here, you're going to see storage class is currently on standard. Is that true? So if I click on edit, right, you're going to see this, right? Now, these are different storage classes. So I deliberately want to use this to show you all some things. Okay. Now, for some reason, it's showing this way. Okay. Now, let me see if it has. Okay, let's see. Let's click here and see if it's going to open differently here. It's still reducing it. It's still reducing it. So, but it's fine. Let me just show you all from here so you can understand something. Friends, please, I want you to understand more information about storage class. Anytime you use a bucket, an object, and you give it storage class, right? I'm sure you've understood what I mean by frequently accessed. So they explain further by telling you more than once a month. Something you want to be accessing it more than once a month. So with milliseconds access, okay, you can access it anytime you want in milliseconds. Now, but this is where I want you to pay rapt attention. Did you see greater than or equal to 3 availability zone? What it means is this. Why this is more expensive is because if you choose this storage class, AWS is going to create 3 copies for you in 3 different availability zones, like a backup for you. Do you understand? They're going to put it in 3 different availability zones. Okay. Now, can you see the same thing with this intelligent tiering too? It also have greater than or equal to 3. Okay. So anytime you create an object and you give it either standard or intelligent tiering, these are the availability zones. Okay. So it's going to create 3 copies for you just to help you. Now, why is it creating this thing? It is because of what? Durability. Okay. Because it wants it to last. So that in case there's any what is it called, because of durability and also because of availability and what some people call fault tolerance, okay, such that if for any reason something happens to one of the availability zones, I'm sure you all know what availability zone means right now. It's just like saying one data center, okay, the particular data center or region, okay. So just let's in this case use even though it can be in, but AWS usually put it in different regions anyway. Sometimes they put it in different regions. Okay, so let's imagine that they put it in North Virginia, they put it in London, and they also put it in Asia. So if anything happens to the data that is stored in London, the day you need your data, AWS will fetch it from Asia and give it to you, because they created 3 availability zones for it. Do you understand? So now you're going to notice that it's going to be reducing as we go. Now, the same thing with this standard, okay? Now, but this one says intelligent. I told you this one means you are not sure. You are not sure whether it is going to be accessed frequently or not. But the most important thing here is that this is similar to this one. Although if you scroll here, you'll be seeing some other information, okay? Monitoring and the rest. But don't worry about this for now. So this is the next one I want you to pay attention to. Infrequently accessed data. It means you don't access it frequently. So that's why they say at least once a month. Okay. Now, what is this? Minimum storage duration. In other words, it's going to be available for 30 days minimum. Okay. Now, if you move here, you're going to see more information. Okay. So it's billable. So if you have anything less than this, they might not, less than this size, they might not consider billing it. Do you understand? So this is the minimum billable object size. So I don't want to confuse you with all this, but as these ones you can see are the most important information. Now let's come to the bottom, okay? Because all these are readable and understandable. At least you see this one zone. One zone. It means they create only one availability zone for you. You see that? Good. Now, this is how this is being interpreted. Okay. So I want you to understand how it works. Okay. So this is how the price charges are being done. Okay. So now that we've all understood what storage classes is, what is life cycle rule? Life cycle rule. Friends, let's do some analogy right here and try to move on to the next topic. Now, you know that when you get a flash drive, let's come here and say flash drive. So this is a typical flash drive. So I just right click this, copy image, come here. Yes. Okay. For some weird reason, this is now going through. So let's click on images, right click this and say copy image. Come here. Okay, good. So this is a flash drive. Friends, you agree with me that anytime you put information inside this flash drive, you are excited because anytime you need it, you can always plug the flash drive and then get the information inside of it. Now, you agree with me that if your company decides to say, you know what, important files should no longer be in the flash drive, the important files should be moved to Google Drive, okay, or Office 365, okay, or OneDrive, dependent, okay. So let's say they put it online to the cloud. Let's just say they push the data online, okay. So this data that was inside here that is pushed online, do you know that anytime you are not online, maybe you don't have internet connection, you are going to find it difficult to retrieve the information here? Is it true? Now, but do you know that the benefit is that even though if this flash drive is stolen or broken, you can still access your data? So in companies, right, there's what we call life cycle rule. Now, life cycle rule helps you to switch from one storage class to another storage class. Do you understand? So let's say you are not accessing the information inside this flash drive. So AWS says they can help you that if after 30 days you don't access the information inside here, after 30 days you don't access the information inside here, they will transfer it to another storage class for you. Do you understand? And if after 60 days you don't access the information here, they will transfer it to another storage class. Do you understand? That's how it works. That's the concept of life cycle rule. Okay, so let me show you something here. So I'll come here and say life cycle rule S3. I'll click on images. Good. So I'm going to do this and open a new tab. Let's see, open image in new tab. Open image in new tab. Okay, so open image in new tab. Open image in new tab. So let's come here. Let's see. These are so small. You know what? Let's use this one for now. So if you watch this, right, you're going to see that you created an object, okay? And that object is on S3 standard. If you watch this carefully, you're going to see that it says that after 30 days of object creation, that's once you create that object, after 30 days, it should push it to what? S3 standard infrequent access. Then after 60 days, okay, of the object creation dates, after 60 days of this, you should push it to S3 Glacier. And after 465 days of the objects being created and it's not being used, right? After 465 days, it's going to delete it. So you just created a rule, so you don't need to monitor it. S3 will take care of the automation. This is what makes you a cloud engineer. How to put some automations to create some rules. I hope you understand this. I'm going to do one practically, but I want you to understand this analogy first. Okay. So when you create a bucket, right, and you drop an object inside that bucket, right? That object is going to have a storage class. So you want it to move from one storage class to another. So if after 465 days or 365 days, you should delete it so that you don't continue incurring costs. So these are what we call cost optimization strategies. You could be asked in an interview, how can you help an organization manage data stored in S3? Which cost optimization strategy can you use? Then you can tell them you can use the S3 lifecycle configuration or S3 lifecycle rule. Okay, I hope we understand this. Let's show you another example. Let's see. Okay, it's literally the same thing that you have here. So you create the object. So the bucket is with objects. So once you apply the rule, it's going to move here. You apply the rule, it will move here. Do you understand? So this is another one. This is AWS own actually. Okay. So if we come here and just type AWS S3 lifecycle transition. So if you do this and click on this link, I'm going to share this with you all. Okay. I'll copy this and share it with you all. I'll click on this. I'll paste it here. Okay. So you all can reference it at a later time. Now, so if you scroll down, you're going to see this thing here. So these are the storage classes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, whenever we're talking about life cycle rule, I want you to understand that there's something called transition action and expiration action. In other words, what should I do as I transit from one point to another? And what should I do for it to expire? Expiring action and transition action. Don't worry, don't try to memorize it, okay? You're going to understand this. You are going to understand it. I have proven to you that anytime you create an object, you upload an object, you can put it in S3 standard, or you can push it down. Take the first step. You can push it down to this, or you can push it down to this, or you can push it down to this one, or you can push it down to this, or you can push it down to this. So you can move downwards to this one. Did you see that? Or if it's in S3 standard infrequent access, you can push it, follow this blue line down to this, or you can follow this blue line down to this, or follow this and come down. So you can, it moves downwards, downwards. That's what all this step is telling you. Okay, you can move from one object storage class to the next one, and from this one to this one, and from this one to this one, from this one to this one. And the same thing applies like that. But you cannot move from here upwards. Did you see that? So it doesn't go upwards. So you cannot say you move from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. No, it doesn't work that way. Please take note of that. It doesn't work that way. Okay? This is very important if you're planning to write any exams or you have an interview. Very important. Okay? So now let us create one of them. Okay? Let's do this practically now. Let's come here. Good. So let's create our, I've explained this. So we want to create our life cycle rule. And I told you how to create the life cycle rule. It's very simple. Just go to the bucket. Okay. Click on management and you will see life cycle rule. Okay. Now, all you need to do is to click on create life cycle rule, or you click on this. Okay. Now, when I click on this, it's going to bring this up. Now, I can call it any name I feel like. Some people call it transition rule. Some people call it life cycle rule, LRC, or anything. Okay. So I'll just call it life cycle. I'll click inside, sorry, life cycle rule. So yeah, I'll just call it that. So now the next thing, I'm sure you all can remember this, but so what do you want to apply the rule to? Is it to all the objects inside that bucket? Remember, this is the name of the bucket. Okay. So do you want to apply this rule to all the objects inside this bucket, or do you want to apply to a specific one? If it is, write the name of the object here. Okay. If it's only picture files that ends with JPG, you can come here and say asterisk.jpg, which means anything that ends with JPG. But if it's a file, you can just write the name of the file. Supposing the name of the file is achiever.txt. It means you want to only apply this lifecycle rule to a file that has this name. Okay. So, but I don't want to work with this limit scope and filter it. I want to apply it to all the objects. Does that make sense? Good. So remember, I told you you can also use folder name. If there is a folder, you can come here and then put the name of the folder, okay, and put a slash. This is how it works. So it will affect everything inside the folder that is inside the bucket. Okay. If you don't get it now, I can assure you, if you watch this video again and again afterwards, you will get it. Friends, it's very, very simple. It's just practice, okay? Take your time, watch the video, pause it, slow down, you will get it. Trust me. I found it very difficult when I was learning these things, okay? It's not just a magic word that not everybody has different rates of internalizing details, right? So I want to guarantee you that if you can take your time and watch this video again, you will be able to get it. Okay. So let's continue. So I'll choose this to apply to all the objects. Then I'll click on this and say, yes, I know what I'm doing. Just allow me. It's just like terms and condition or agreements. Just I agree. Yeah, go ahead. So now this is where the action comes in place. Very, very important. Now, friends, if you watch here, it says move the current version of objects. So all the objects inside that bucket, right? We want us to move the current version of objects between storage classes. So if you choose this, this is the first action. So these are different actions you can perform. So if you watch here, you're going to see something. So after 30 days, okay, first of all, let's check that bucket again. Right click this and open. So this is the what is it called? This is the what is it called? This is the bucket, right? Now we are applying a rule to it and saying that anything we apply there, right? So if it is in storage class by default, okay, that's the standard, okay? This is the object, okay? So let's say this particular one, all right, is in standard, all right? And you want it to move from this current version. So move current versions of objects between storage classes, from one storage class to another storage class. So how do you want to make the transition? That's what is happening here. It means I want after 30 days of creation. Do you remember this these images? No, not this. Let's come here. I think it's this. Here. What's the one we were working with? Yeah, I think it's this. Let's use this, but it's just that it's tiny. Oh, it's faint, but oh, it's blurred. Okay, let's click on this. Okay, good. So this is what I mean. So let's choose this, even though it's a little bit low. Okay, good. So I'm going to copy this image and paste it on the comment section so that you all can always access it so that you can see it by yourself, okay? So that you don't have difficulty if you're struggling to see it, so that you can also have access to it. So those are the what is it called? My friends using WebEx. Let me share with you as well. So I click on this, click this. All right. No, sorry, I just remembered WebEx does not for some weird reason WebEx does not allow people to paste this here. So don't worry, okay? Always I'll try my best to upload more of these things on the Google Drive so that you can access it. All right. So let's continue, friends. Okay, so of course you can always use Google and just type this. Okay, now so take note. Let's say you wanted to move from S3 standard to infrequent access after 90 days. Then from this infrequent access in the next 1 year, you want it to move to Amazon Glacier. Supposing this is what we want to do, how do we do it? To do it is very simple. All we need to do is to come here and say, right now, let's look at it again. What from Amazon's S3 standard, in after the next 90 days, it should move to infrequent access. So we come here, and if you click here, you see this is infrequent access. Okay, so you can come here and put 90 days. So after the days after object creation, okay, now you can click here to add another one and say after this, it should move toward Amazon Glacier after 1 year. So we come here and say after 365. Did you see that? So if you come down here, this is how it's going to look like. Did you see the review? When you create the object, okay, the very day the object is created, after 90 days, from 0 to 90 days, you should move the object to what? Standard infrequent access. And after 1 year of the object creation, not 1 year from this day, 1 year from the object creation date, you should move it towards intelligent tiering. Okay, did we use, okay, let's see. Okay. Now, this is how this works. If you want, this is from infrequent access. This is infrequent access. So, okay, I'm correct. I think I'm correct. I think I choose the wrong one, which is intelligent tiering. What I was supposed to choose is Amazon Glacier. So I'll click here and change this to so these are different types of glaciers. Okay, so you can read it so that you can understand, and I've explained to you the difference between each one of them, so you can read it so that you can understand which one of them. Okay, so let's say we want to just use this one. Okay, or oh my god, my other guys. I'll just choose this one. Okay, so did you see what's happening? So it's like this. So if you come to the bottom, you're going to see after 0 days, it will move it to infrequent access. And after 1 year, it will move it to Glacier Deep Archive, which is exactly what we have here. Even though this is Amazon Glacier, but you all get the drift. I hope this is not difficult for us to understand. So now, there's something here. Now, if you watch, all we selected is just one action rule. So what if you say non-current versions? So when you create an object, you can have the current version and you can have the older versions. Is it not true? So you can also choose to move the non-current version. Do you understand? Or if you say no, you don't want to move the non-current version, what do you want to do? Permanently delete the non-current versions. I only want the current version to be moved, but the non-current versions should be deleted. Friends, I hope this is making sense to everybody. So you now come here and say, how many days after the object is, they say days after the object becomes non-current. So you can say 2 days after the object becomes non-current, I want you to delete it. Number of newer versions to retain. So if there are 5 new versions of your object, how many do you want to retain? I want to retain only 2. Friends, can you see this? Okay, just to be sure that you all get it. I know it's becoming it requires a lot of understanding to be sure to know what you're doing. But if you understand this, please type yes. It's very interesting, but it needs a lot of meticulous. You need a lot of focus to be able to work with this transition rule, and it's very, very important. You can't say you understand S3 without knowing how to use it. Okay, this is very, very, very important. Okay, Now, oh my God, I just remembered I asked you all to remind me 1 hour in. And oh my God, I just so sorry, friends. Okay, okay. Um, so um, so do you guys want me to take a break or do you want us to continue? Okay, okay, let's continue so that we can wrap up quickly. Okay, let's continue quick so that we can wrap up. Um, yeah, so let's continue. So, um, so I'm sure you guys understand these transition rules again. So please pause it, practice it, pause it, practice it. If you have questions, ask me. Okay, pause it, practice it. All right, pause the video. That's what I mean. So now, if you notice, right now it's only two things we selected here. So what about this expire? I've talked about this one. I've talked about this one. I've talked about this one. What about this one? So expire current versions of objects. So in other words, when do you want the object to expire? So remember this image we have here. So if you move it to this, after 1 year, you should move it here. Is it not true? So what if we say after 100 days, that's 465 days, you should delete the object. It means we don't need it. So you only apply this rule if you know that you have, let's say it's just because of pricing, right? You don't want it to be charged. You want that object to be deleted on its own automatically after 1 year and 100 days. You get, so you can come here and say expire current versions of the object. Did you see that? Now, this checkbox I did, if you come to the bottom, you're going to see something. So remember, you have to check this box for this Glacier type so that because you will understand the consequences, okay? And especially for the retrieval, okay? So if you're okay with it, you click on this. Now, I'll come down here. So did you see the expire current version? So how many days after the object is created, object creation, do you want me to expire it? So you can read this and say, expiration is required for the selected action. Enter a value or deselect the action. Okay, so how many days after the object creation? So you can say 465 days after the object is created. And if you come down here, you're going to see that it has updated this thing. So this is how it works. It said from current version, when you create the object, you upload the object. After 90 days, you should move it to this. Okay, after 90 days, it should move it to this. And after 365 days, it moves it to this. And then after 465 days, it will delete the object for you. This is how it works. So this last one is just delete marker and some incomplete uploads. It's rarely used, but if you want to use it, you can always tick it. But these are the four most important ones. So once you're done, all you need to do is just to click here and say create a rule. Create rule. This is how simple it is to create a life cycle rule. You understood 50% of what I did. Please type yes. You understood 50%, just 50%. Or just type the percentage you understood. Type the percentage you understood. Let's see. 50, 90, 100. Just type it. Let's see. Okay, 65. It's a good one. 90%. Oh, awesome. I can see 100%. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, guys. Thank you. Oh, Paul said 20%. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So what I will ensure I do is this. I will try my best to put some notes to explain some of the things in case the videos does not do justice. Okay. So you might not get the whole big picture now, but I can assure you if you watch the video again, you will get it. Why? Because you will need to pause and practice it. Okay. So please just understand that, okay, because people, okay, imagine I tell you to store a file somewhere, right? And you know that that file that you store, okay, I ask you to keep a file with somebody and the person charges for that file you've kept with him, right? Now, I want you to know that for every time that file is with that person, you are paying for it. If the file is very important, you know you don't mind, you will continue paying for it without bothering on the price. Is it true? Now, but what if that file is not, I don't want to say not so important, right? But that file in the next 1 year or 2 years, you might not need the file. Okay, so you want AWS to help you to be gradually reducing the price. Okay, so you will now use what we call storage class and say, okay, after 30 days, because you cannot change from one storage class to another below 30 days. It must always be 30 days. Take note of that. It's always 30 days, from 30 days and above. Okay, from 30 days what and above. Good. So let's say after 30 days, I want AWS to move it to another storage class for me. And why is AWS moving it? AWS is moving it because it's going to reduce the cost, the price that I am paying. So so because of this configuration, I've already told AWS that in the next 465 days, based on this rule I just created, okay, based on this rule I just created, in the next 465 days, AWS should go ahead and delete it for me. Do you understand? That's what we mean by transition and expiration action. That is what a life cycle rule is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take you out. I actually came late. Okay, I can understand, Mr. Paul. If you can understand the 20% in despite the late coming, it means you will do well when you watch the video. All right. Okay, so friends, let's do this very, very fast. I still have a lot of things to touch. Now we've understood life cycle rules, so I'm very good. I'm so happy we've covered that. I didn't know I was going to finish it within this short time. Now, the next thing I want to touch is the okay, I will just touch the replication rule, even though I know I did it in the last class, but the video was lagging. So I'll touch it. And after that, I'll now touch on IAM. And wherever we stop in the IAM, we will continue in the next class, which is on Wednesday, because everything we are supposed to touch. So friends, just so that you all are aware that we are following the outline, I'm intentionally following the outline. So if you come here and type free, let's see. Remember, this is the outline we shared to you all just to before now. So if you watch, this is week 1, right? So this is week 2. Now this is week 3. So secure your AWS resources with advanced IAM policies. So we'll still be able to touch some advanced things on IAM in our next class. Okay. All right. So let's continue so we can cover a lot of grounds. Okay. Having understood lifecycle rule, let's touch on replication rule. And I said it in the last class that replication rule simply involves you replicating how do I put it? I simply said you have to move your object from the source to the destination. Let's say you create an object. Oh my God, I just remembered the WebEx guys. Please check on the Telegram. If they're still having issues, let me know so that I can create the WebEx for them. Okay? Please let me know if they're still struggling on the comment section so that I can create it for them. Just because of I want to save time. So this is when you create a bucket, right? That bucket can be replicated. Yeah. In other words, duplicated. Okay. So you don't want to lose your information. Okay. And also you want the information to be close to the customer. So you do what we call replication. And replication can be 2 types: same region replication and cross-region replication. Now, this cross-region simply means 2 different regions. US is 1, US is 2. That's what we mean by cross-region replication. Okay. So, but same region replication means everything is done inside one region. I hope that makes sense. Now, let's show you how to work with replication rule. So I'll come here and this is the bucket, right? To get the replication rule, I'll click on this and you'll see replication rule right here. Okay. Now, friends, I'm sure you all know that this lifecycle rule will not take effect immediately, because according to the rule is after 30 days of object creation. So of course, right now, this is not 30 days, except maybe there's a way we can change the date and time on AWS. I'll fast forward the time to get the 30 days. That's when it takes effect. Okay. All right. So this is replication rule. So to create the replication rule, I'll click on this and then I'll give it a name. I'll just come and call it replica. Replica rule. Now, I want it to be enabled once I'm done creating it. Now, priority is right now, this one I'm creating has a priority of 0. So if we create another rule that is affecting the same object, you can change the priority between 0, 1, 2, and the rest. So the one you choose to give a high priority, I'm sure you all know what it means to give somebody high priority. Is to give the person utmost or most attention or first attention, right? Good. That's what we mean by priority. So this replication rule replica rule I'm trying to create, I told you it works with the concept of source and destination, right? So in this case, right, this is inside the random bucket 2024, right? If I want to use same region, so this is North Virginia, right? All I need to do is just to change, let's say I want it to affect everything inside, right? Now, the most important thing I want us to understand between this same region and cross-region replication. This is just an extra information in case you're writing an exam or you are being asked. So this same region uses what we call synchronous. Okay, synchronous replication, whereas this other one uses what we call asynchronous. You may be wondering, what do I mean by that? Just put an A here. Okay, I think is it as in, let's see, I don't know if there's a hit. There's no hit. Let me see. Asynchronous. Yeah, I'm correct. I'm correct. So now, what's the difference between what do I mean by this synchronous? So synchronous simply means that simultaneously. That's another word for simultaneously. Okay, so same region means synchronous transfer or replication. If you are creating something, let's say this is one region, right? And you're using same region replication, and you have 2 buckets, right, inside this same region. Okay, if you create an object here and because you're using replication rule, immediately as you are uploading it inside this object, this bucket here, it will be automatically creating it inside the second destination bucket. It will be happening synchronously. But the asynchronously, right, it will take some time. That's what it means. It doesn't happen instantly. That's just a long and short of what I'm just explaining. Okay, so this happens instantly. This might take some little time. Okay, I hope we get it. In case you see it in an interview or so, that's the reason why I had to mention that. Apply to all objects there. So the source is this bucket right now. So this is the bucket, right? So we want it to be inside this same region. Okay, choose a bucket in this same account. Okay, but it's going to be in the same region. So we can come here and say, okay, so right now you see there's only one bucket in this same region. So I can come here and create another bucket if I want to. Okay, so I'll click here and say drop the object here. So that's the name I call the bucket. Let's see. Let's call it 2024. Right? So I'll just choose this. So you must enable bucket versioning. You should. So then you click on what? Create bucket. Good. So you see, both of them are where in US East 1, the same region. Okay. So if I come here right now, it's telling me to choose the destination. I'll click on browse. So you see, we can't see the second one. Just click on refresh. You see that? Good. So you can see this one. So I'll choose this and click what? Choose path. You see that? Good. So the next thing I need to do is to choose create a new rule. Okay. Now, I think that's all for this illustration. Now, change the storage class for the replicated object. It means, do you want it to change the storage class as it is replicating? So if the source is using standard, Do you want when it's replicating to the other destination, it should move to intelligent tiering or Glacier? If you want to do those things, you must check this box and choose the storage class you want it. But let's keep everything very simple. Okay. So anytime you delete something on the original, do you want it to also show the marker on the replication? So all these things are extra information, but let's just leave it the way it is and click on save. Okay. Now you can enable a one-time batch operations. Okay. So no, do not replicate existing objects. So I told you that this is actually more cheaper, but let's just choose this because I want you to see practically. So yes, replicate existing objects. So I'll just click on submit. So if it shows you this one-time batch operation, don't worry yourself, just come here. So complete report destination. So you can come here and choose the destination, which is going to be this, and choose this. Okay, so you come down here. So just click on save. So let's wait a little while. Okay, good. It has created it. So if you watch this, it's preparing the batch. Okay, so if you watch this, this is preparing. It's trying to do the transfer. So let's confirm this by, this is the drop the object here. So remember there's nothing inside here, right? So, but inside this one, if you select this, there are 3 files inside here. So let's check this batch. Can we reload this to see what's happening? So this is like the batch operation that is doing the transfer for you. Do you understand? All right, so let's wait. So can you see it's active operation replicate? So let's come here and choose this. So you can always click on refresh. Can you see? Can you see? You can click on this. Let's see. Okay, this is just the manifest. Let's see. Good. Can you see it's coming? Can you see the object? I was not the one that put it. Can you see? The files are here. So you can reload this. These are the files there. So you can come here. Sorry, I mean, you can go back to the other bucket and check this. So you see this, there are 3. Now, you know, the reason why you cannot get this one is because it's still in what? Deep Glacier, this Glacier deep archive. And you all know the reason. So it's taking time. It's about 12 hours. So friends, this is how replication rule works. Okay. This is how replication rule works. Okay. So the benefit of replication rule is simply such that if you create something, you create, this is buckets, right? You store something inside here. Okay. And this is your bucket, right? And anything you store inside here, one positive reason is if you want your staff or your company, right, to be accessing the information inside a particular bucket and you want them to receive it very, very fast, you need to consider their region. So if you are in the US and your client is in Africa, right? So you can use a replication rule to say that anytime you upload something inside this bucket, you should replicate it inside the another bucket for your customers in a specific region. So because it's from one region to another region, this will now become what? Cross-region replication, CRR. This one we just did now is what we call same region. So I'm sure you all know how to do cross-region. All you need to do is just to make sure that the second bucket is going to be in a different region. So you can even call it primary and call the other one secondary, or you call it source and call the other one destination. This is how replication rule works. If you understand, please, can I just get 3 yeses, just to be sure? 3 yeses. Okay, good. Thank you. Mercy, my screen is visible. Let me know if you're still struggling. Okay, good. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Okay, so I think I have less than 30 minutes to wrap up the last thing I want to show you now. We have less than 30 minutes. I'll try to stick to time today. I'll try to stick to time. So what I want to show you right now. So according to our outline here, we have covered everything. We've covered this. Okay. We've been able to talk about bucket lifecycle, bucket replication, bucket versioning, this and this, right? Now, we are going to build upon anything I said to you today in the next class. Okay. Now, friends, let's do something interesting. So I'm going to click on, so let's create a bucket. Okay. And simply say, I want to store something. So I will call it store. Okay. And call it store 20. Let's see, today's date is 09/02/20. Sorry, 02/2024. Okay. That's the name of the bucket. Okay, a unique name. Now, I'm going to click on this. I'll scroll down and I'll click on, or you know what? It doesn't matter. You can choose to block. You can even leave it the way it is. No problem. Let's leave everything the way it is. I won't touch anything. I only give it a name. So if you come down here, I'll just click what? Create bucket. Now, friends, this bucket I just created is this. Okay. Now, if I click on this, you see there's no object inside this bucket. Okay. Now, friends, I want you to pay rapt attention. Okay. I'm going to upload something inside this bucket. Okay. And show you something. So let's assume that do I use coffee or sir? Let's use coffee or what do I use? Okay, MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro laptop. Good. Yeah. I just need an image, don't mind me. So let's say this is the laptop I want to buy, right? So or I want for a birthday gift. So I'll just select this, right click this and say save image as, right? Now, all I need to do is I'll just call it Mac, all right? And click on save. Good. Now let's upload that. Let's upload it, right? So this is the bucket. Okay. Now let's upload it. So I'll click on this, add files, and select this and click on this and scroll down. Now, before I've shown you different ways we can make this thing accessible to the public. Is it not true? Now, what I am trying to teach you is what we call best practice. Okay. If you all can remember IAM, identity and access management. Now, I'm also trying to teach you a security best practice. This security best practice is something we call least privilege, the principle of least privilege. Okay. Now, I want to use IAM to regulate what the person can see, who can see it, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm going to click on upload. So right now, this is the image, right? So if you close this and select this image and you click on open, you see, this is showing. Now, this is because I am the one that uploaded it. If I copy this link here and send it to you, I can guarantee you, you won't be able to access it. I'll paste it here. So try and see. Just try. Click on it and let me know. If you saw it, click yes. If you can't see it, type no. Can you see it? Please click on the link on the chat board. You can see it. The link or the image. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on. Now, okay, you're correct. you are supposed to see it. Now, because you can see it, now I need to now determine who can see it. And I'm going to use the IAM to do it, to regulate it. Now, this is how I'm going to do it. Let's pay rapt attention now. So, friends, can we all see permission here? Permission. Now, when I click on this, did you see that? And scroll down. There's something called bucket policy. I'm sure you all know a lot of things about policies now, right? Which are just collections of permissions, right? Good. Friends, I want you to understand that I can click on this edit, right? And then I will be able to create a policy that will determine who and what can have access to that object. Who and what can have access to that object. I'll say it again. Who and what. Who can have access to it and what can have access to it. So how do I create these policies? I can either choose to use some policy examples, or I can use something called a policy word generator. Okay, policy word generator. So maybe let's see. Okay, let me just touch this one. So I'll click on this right now. Tomorrow I'll also touch on something called policy simulator. Now, I want you to see this AWS policy generator. How did I get here? If you're wondering, I just clicked on this. Okay, I hope you didn't get confused. If you are still wondering how I got to this place, just make sure you're in the permissions. You're in the under the once you select the bucket, click on permissions. Okay, then scroll down. You'll see bucket policy. Select edit, and you'll be able to see this. Okay, now well, this will help us to generate policies. Friends, do you know all those policies that you've been seeing that we were attaching to our users all this period? So sometimes you don't, this is how you can create the policy. Tomorrow I'm going to dive deep on how to create the policy. Okay. Now, but we want to create an S3 policy. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So this tool helps you to create policies that can control access to AWS services. Okay. So right now, let's select the policy type. So if you click here, this is limiting it to these policies. It can be an IAM policy. It can be an S3 policy. So it's an S3 bucket we want, right? So I'll choose S3 bucket policy. Friends, I hope this makes sense. Now, I'll scroll down. The second statement means what? Add a statement. Okay, add a statement. So what does this mean? I'm going to explain further tomorrow. Not tomorrow. In our next class, which is Wednesday. So what kind of statement do you want to add? Do you want to allow or do you want to deny? So if I choose deny right now, it means nobody will be able to access it. So even though we've not gotten to that point, I want you to know that by default, every object has the deny. Every object has explicitly deny policy attached to it. But don't worry, we'll get to those things later on. So I'm just going to leave it on allow. Okay. So who do you want to allow and what do you want to allow? Okay. That's what we mean by principal. So if you hover your cursor, as I hover my cursor on this, you see it's a person who is a principal. A principal is a person who receives the permission in this statement. For an IAM user named Joe, the principal is ARN AWS IAM, the account number column Joe. For an AWS account number this, the principal is account this. Do you understand? So I know it's looking somehow confusing right now. I just want you to understand that the principal can be an IAM user. The principal can be a role. The principal can be an AWS account, and so on and so forth. But right now, we don't want to get confused with which principal. So what I usually do is just to put asterisks here. So when you put asterisks, it means any principal. Okay. Now, which service? Right now, this thing we are doing is for S3 service. That's why we choose S3 policy. I hope you get it. Okay. So this is for S3 services. Now, the next thing is what kind of action do you want to apply? If you say all services, now right now you see this is cannot enable because we choose S3 policy. Okay, you can choose other policies to activate this. Now, but let's leave this. This is for S3 services. From all the services, you choose S3. Okay. Now, what kind of action do you want to perform? Right now, if you choose this, it means all actions, all the actions. So there's something we call create, read, update, and delete. Now, because of not everybody here is a developer, you may not know what we call the CRUD operations. CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. Okay, but don't worry, just don't worry about this for now. Okay, so one of the remember I told you I am doing principle of least privilege. So I don't want to give you a permission that you don't have clearance for. Let's take it again. The principle of least privilege states that you only have access to the resources that you need currently. For instance, if someone, right, the fact that let's put it this way. Let me use a more realistic examples that you all can relate with. Imagine somebody walks up to you, right, and tells you, please, I don't have an AWS account. Can you please help me? I want to create an S3 bucket, right? So you tell the person, okay, I can help you do that. Now, do you know that some persons, I don't want to say laziness, some persons will that do not have security consciousness, right? They are going to give their username and their password access to the IAM account and tell the person to go ahead and create the S3. It means the person has access to do anything. How about if I decide to create an IAM user for the person and attach a policy that restricts the person to only have S3 full access? Only S3 full access. The person cannot do anything else apart from S3. This is what we call the principle of least privilege. Does that make sense? Please, I hope this makes sense. I would have asked you to type yes or no, but because of time, I really want to finish this quickly. So, don't forget it's very important. So now, instead of choosing all actions, I'm not going to choose that now. Okay, so I can choose from all the actions here. Which action do I want? Now, remember the problem we want to solve is that you all could see the image, right? Now, I could do a lot of things. So, let's come here. Yeah, so there's different kinds of options here. So, but right now, from experience, that's what we call get object. Okay. If you come here, you're going to see so there's get object. So this is get object. So I want this person to be able to get the object. Now, if I choose this, only one action has been selected. Now, don't worry, you will get all the full picture tomorrow. Now, only one action was selected, right? Now, it's asking me for the next one, which is Amazon resource name. Every object has this ID, Amazon resource name, Amazon resource name. Okay, so it's asking me what's the Amazon resource name for this S3 bucket. All you need to do is to come here. Can you see bucket ARN? Bucket ARN. Just come here and copy it. Okay, come here and paste it. Does that make sense? Now, friends, still on the principle of least privilege. If you watch this, it's telling you the format. Everything is going to follow this format. Then you see there's a slash, and then you see the key name. Now, I pasted the ARN quite all right. Okay. Now I can just, the only thing you should just do, just put a slash. Put a slash. Like, you know what? Let me put it here so that you all see me doing it. So I'll click on this. Okay, so this is it. So I'll put a slash, okay, and then put the name of that object. So what is the name of the object I want people to access? I think the name is mac.png. Is it not true? So it's going to, if I come here, it's going to be slash mac.png. Sorry, lowercase, please. Mac.png. Did you see that? This is what we have here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, okay, and inside here, I'll paste it. Do you understand? Which means inside this bucket, okay, remember this is the bucket name. Inside that bucket, that object is what we need. Okay, good. So all I need to do now, remember this is allow. Is it not true? I'll click on add statement. Now, if I do add statement, this is what you're going to see. Okay, so there was no condition attached to this. Okay, and I don't want to talk about condition right now. So, but this is what we have. So if I click on generate policy, it's going to generate the policy, and you see something that looks like this. Can you all see this? So now I'm just going to select all this right now. Okay, I'll come here and paste here. Did you see that? This is what we did. Okay, this is what we did. Now I'm going to scroll down and click what? Save changes. Your bucket policy changes can't be saved. You either don't have permission to edit the bucket policy, or your bucket policy grants a level of public access that conflicts with your, okay, block public access. Yes, so it's conflicting. I understand. So it wants me to go and change something. So this is what I'm going to do. Let's update this quickly. So this, remember, this is the bucket. It's not true. Go to permission. So this is turned on. So I'm supposed to click here and remove this. Okay, and then click on save changes. So I'll just come here and say confirm. Okay, and say confirm. Good. So if we come here right now and click on save changes. So can you see it has created the bucket, right? So friends, now this is what we've done so far. So let's try it again. Where's that image? Let's choose here. So this is the object. This is, let's select this, click on open. So watch, this is it, right? Now I'm going to so I can either do that, or I can click on this, and this is the object URL. So let me share. So if I paste it here, watch, you can see it here, right? Let me share it with you all. Try and access it. Patty said she can't hear anything. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Would you want to disconnect and try and join again? So please, friends, let's click on that link and confirm. But what's in there? I think I showed you all again, okay? I think I did. Please confirm. You can see it, right? Beautiful. Now, let's do something. Remember the policy generator says what? The policy generators. Oh my God. This is the policy generator. Let's click on it. So the policy generator simply says what? Effect. It should allow everybody. Is it not true? Who is the principal? It should allow everybody. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm trying to edit it. It doesn't give us room to be able to edit it back again. Okay, you know what? I'll just quickly do it this time around, but I'll be faster. Okay, so watch what I'm going to do now. I'll choose asterisk. Okay, if I choose asterisk, and I'm going to choose, in fact, instead of using allow, I'll choose what? Deny. Did you see that? So this is asterisk. This is get action, get object. So okay, this is get object. Okay, now it's asking for, we've chosen one, it's asking for the ARN, right? So let's paste the ARN, which is what I copied before. No. This is not it. Where did I? This is it here. Okay, so paste it. Good. Now let's click on add statements, right? This, can you see effect deny? Is that true? So I'm going to select this one and click on generate policy. So it's showing us two things. Select this one and let's get what I need here. This is allow, this is deny. So this is what I need here. Okay, this is what I need here. I'll copy this. If I come here right now under the permissions tab, if I scroll down and say edit, right? In fact, even without, I didn't even need to go there. Just coming here alone. If I change this thing from allow to deny, I just wanted you also to see me doing it there. Just changing this thing to deny. Watch what happens. If I click on save changes. So can you try and see if you can you can view that image again? Try and see if you can view that image again. Can you still see it? Please check. Check now. Denied, right? You can't see it. Why? Because I have restricted it. Do you understand? So I used an IAM policy to restrict it. I hope you understand. So there are a lot of things I can do. So tomorrow, I just showed you the power of IAM. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how you can create a bucket, right? And I can only tell you that you are only permitted to see only one object inside that bucket, but you cannot see any other thing. Do you understand? So we're going to learn more about IAM and policy on objects, on buckets. Do you understand? So understand the power of IAM, how to generate policy, how to simulate it, and understand how it works. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, today I try to keep to time, and we're going to stop here for today. I really hope today's session has been quite informative. And I really want to thank you all for joining me. So if you have questions, please, I'm going to take, let's say, like 7 questions. If we have up to 7 persons, right? Then we will call it a day. Thank you so much. So I'm going to, yeah. So we're stopping today for now. We're stopping for now rather. So please, if you have questions, okay, we only have 3 persons. Thank God. I say thank God. Yeah, it's because I have another session after now. Allow Mike. Yeah, Mr. Henry, go ahead, please. Can you unmute yourself? Mr. Henry, are you still there? You're welcome, Mr. Eduker. You're welcome. Mr. Henry, are you still there? Okay, I guess he must have forgotten his hand is up. Okay. Mr. Michael, would you want to unmute yourself and say something? Mr. Michael, can you unmute yourself? Do you have a question? Okay, so I don't think Mr. Michael has a question. So let's, Mr. Babatunde Obafemi, will you unmute yourself?
Hello. Hello.
Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Thank you for the class. You okay? You already taught us about permissions, creating policy, creating custom policy, even as much as going to ChatGPT to get some to create some custom policy or going to AWS documentation. So is this one now is it now I'm aware that that one is about user groups and all. So is it like it seems it's talking about the same thing, but
Okay.
though it's different, but it seems it's like still talking about the same stuff because I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say.
Okay, if I understood your question, you're asking, is this a different way of applying IAM policies? If that's the
Yes,
question, the answer is
yes,
yes. So IAM policies. So first of all, understanding what policy is and which is a collection of permissions, right? Now, importantly, I want you to know that you use these policies to regulate who has access to what and when the person should have access to it. And this applies to all the AWS services, all. So IAM is not just used for maybe users. You understand? It's not just used for maybe EC2 service. So it's used for different components. Okay, both users, both services. Okay, so what I just taught you that time was just a gentle introduction to IAM. I didn't scratch the surface at all. I just showed you the power of IAM. So what I just did today was just to give you another appetizer again. So there's literally more to IAM than what I just showed you all. So today I just showed you much more. You understand? So tomorrow I may just show you another more. Okay. So it's literally something that even if we start learning it from in 1 week, I don't think I'll be able to exhaust it. That's how huge IAM is, because it has a whole lot of um perspective to it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You can use it
Okay.
to apply on different services and so on and so forth.
Because today it seems like you just showed us the parts of uh, when it comes to an object, like who has ability to view an object and who does not have the ability to view an object. Then my second part is, so I won't waste time, is I'm having a little issue in putting our technical the week one assignment on the CMS.
Sorry, come again. You're having what?
Yeah, issues in putting the technical assignments, the week one assignments on the CMS on the um on the sites. That's what I mean. Hello.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I can still hear you, sir. Go ahead, please.
You understand what I'm trying to say, sir? You give an assignment.
Yes, please. I did.
Yeah. So the assignment give us where to submit it. Then you also asked us to, or maybe I'm the one that is getting it wrong. You asked us to post it on the website, on the the website we got from Bootstrap.
Okay. If I'm correct, if I understand you rightly, you are asking more details or more clarifications on how to that website you get maybe from any any CMS platform, how to host
Yeah.
it. You're trying to get more clarity on the hosting aspect of it. Is that what you mean?
So now okay, on how to host it as a static website might not be a problem, but the problem I have is I am uploading. I think maybe maybe I'm not getting assignment very rare. Since something about uploading the assignments on that website, something like that came up or something like that. That's why I'm trying to get. Did you
Okay.
ask us to upload the assignment on the static website?
Okay. What will happen, Mr. Babatunde, right? I don't think there's much questions from any other person. Okay, if you're not in haste, right? Let me take any more questions, and then once I'm sure that I've addressed all questions, then I don't mind. You could share your screen. I can willingly walk you through so that you can understand it better, and I can also get your question and address it. Does that help?
Okay, we do. I'm using my mobile phone right now, but okay, no problem. Just go on, no problem.
Okay. All right. So I think we only have one person as well. So Mr. Jafar, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Shiva.
You're welcome. You're not so audible. Hi, Jafar. You're not so audible. Would you want to speak louder, please? Go ahead. Oh, wow. I guess your network, because we can hear you. I don't know. Is it just me or I can hear you? Thank you so much, Fashola. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah,
Mr.
hello.
Jafar, we
Can you hear
can't
me
hear
now?
you. Yes,
Can you hear me
better.
now?
Go ahead, please. Yes, please. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I said as always, before I say my comment, I always appreciate you and Pray that God keep guiding you.
Now go there.
So my comment tonight or question
Okay.
is not, it's going to deviate a little from the technical aspect of what we are learning, though it's a
Okay.
personal question that I want to ask you.
Okay. You know what? Let me
You,
stop the recording then, since it's something personal, so that it doesn't affect the recording for any other person that might not be interested, so that the recording doesn't also become too lengthy. Okay. So I'll
okay.
just stop it right now. Okay. So